This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Primary education teachers. And when you talk about post-primary, you're talking about secondary school. You're talking about junior secondary, and we're talking about senior secondary. So that goes from grade 7, 8, and 9 to grade 10, and then Form 3 and 4. Remember, these are not just your run-of-the-mill anything. These are teachers who are saying, because of a sharp problem, we will then not be coming to school. We will not teach until you figure this out, if they're going to figure it out. Hosting this conversation with me at this point is Lewis Nyaundi, who is an education reporter with the Standard Group. Lewis, good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning, Do.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Yeah.
Education matters never really run away from us, do they? They seem to always be.
It's the biggest docket in our country.
Yeah.
Gets the biggest allocation. I'll never stop saying that, of our taxpayers' money, more than any other county gets. Actually, more than all counties combined, what they're given from the exchequer is way less than what education gets. So it's a critical point. Whether you're a parent, whether you're a student, whether you're not, your money goes there. So you should be concerned.
You should be concerned.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll just give us a little bit of an overview of what is actually happening in the sector at the moment. Our guest is going to join us in a short while. He got a little bit confused with the timings, but Moses Ndurima is the Deputy Secretary General of the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, that is otherwise known in acronym as KUPPET. He'll join us in a short while for us to understand about this looming strike, what exactly is going on. But let's look at education in the meantime, Nyaundi, because a lot has happened since January. Remember, we spoke last year, and we said, come January, it looks like there's going to be a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
And we were not the doomsday sayers or anything, but that exactly is what happened. We got to a place where maybe at some point during the first term, grade 10s got their textbooks at least.
But late.
But late, really late.
Yeah.
Maybe the first time in a long time, and we got to give credit where it's due, the capitation for the first term was paid in full.
And came in before
school opened.
Yeah.
This actually happened. And I mean, it sounds crazy that we would celebrate it, but the opposite situation has been the case.
Yeah.
So we've always cried about this. But this time, in 2026, January, before schools opened on the 6th of January, 7th of January, capitation had been sent and received.
Yes.
Before schools open. Okay. Give us a status report of how things are looking now, and let's go from, if we need to start at ECDC, the ECDE, and go all the way to varsity. Let's do that. What does it look like right now?
We did our first senior school class, grade 10, which was a milestone. Yeah, despite the challenges, that level has already rolled out and students are in class. That's an achievement that we cannot erase. And looking at what is happening right now, the books are in school. There has been issues around schools not getting enough books, but those are technical issues that are ironed in between the term. But now moving forward to now April, and schools are now facing a shutdown. And for me, I think that's something that we should be worried about. We are looking at teachers who are teaching about 3-point-something million students in senior school.
Yes.
And another 2-point-something million students, about 2.7 million students in junior school who are threatening to strike. That's about 6 million students who will be affected. And some of the issues, SHA is the main issue, but there are another raft of issues that are in there, which includes promotion. There is stagnation of promotions. There has been a criteria that has been used for promotion for over a decade now, close to a decade, since 2017. And they are complaining that this promotion model is causing stagnation. So that's a very big issue for teachers, because some teachers have remained in the same job group for over 10 years. That means that their salary remains the same for over 10 years.
Yeah.
Time is changing. And these teachers need to feel some growth in their career progression. But that is not happening. And they credit that to this promotion model. Maybe when our guest is here, he can explain to us in detail how the promotion model works.
And how this works in tandem with TSC.
With TSC.
Because TSC is the commission that is mandated to deal with these job group rising, remaining, and all of this.
It's the implementing body.
That's the word
Actually, they are the ones who came up with this model. So, if anything, they're the ones who are supposed to be talking to us about this. And you see, for TSC, I think as an employer, it's a win for them because then it caps the growth in wage bill.
Yeah.
So for them, I think it works for them. But for the ordinary teacher who's in class, it's very punitive. And there are so many. I was going through the TSC page today in the morning, and one of the messages that every comment, every post that teachers are, that TSC is posting, you'll see such a comment: reverse career progression guidelines for teachers. Teachers are stagnating in job group C1 for primary and C3 for secondary. C1 is the entry level, not the entry level, but the second level from where you start. When you get to service, you get to grade B5. Then after 3 years, you're automatically promoted to C1. But now moving from C1 is a problem.
Why is it a problem, though? I don't understand. Because, well, I can maybe apply some thought and it would make sense. It's cheaper overall to keep a teacher in C1 because that means, okay, in terms of emoluments and all these other things, that you can maintain paying a certain amount of money and you don't need to actually, if you keep them in C1, you're good. You don't have to spend more.
Yeah.
When you promote, I mean, it's a no-brainer. You pay more money. But then it also seems like career progression is one of the things that you promised as a commission that you would then be able to foster.
Yeah.
So if you don't do that, can you then say that the commission then is failing in one of its primary mandates?
I actually think that's the simple way to say it. Okay. But you see, I think there is a model. I think Nturima can best explain it to us. But there are some there are some things that a teacher needs to have covered over a certain period, and then they can apply for promotion. But now the problem is, even when they apply for promotion, it's not guaranteed that they are going to get that promotion when they seek for promotion. And they have to wait for 3 years before they can seek another round of promotion.
Yikes.
So imagine if I did my, if I was promoted to C1 and I'm seeking for promotion to C2, and I have applied for promotion this year, and that promotion has been declined, I have to wait until 2028 or 2029 actually before I can get another chance to seek for promotion.
And even then you're not guaranteed.
And it's not guaranteed. So I have to wait again up to 2032.
Yes.
So that I can seek another promotion. You see, those are 6 years, actually 9 years between 2026 to 2032. 9 years are gone by, or maybe 6 years are gone by. So you can see how easily a teacher can stagnate over one job group for 10 years. And that's one of the other issues. The other issue is their CBA. We have talked about this. They did an agreement to get some extra cash for teachers, and it was agreed upon, but it was to be paid in 2 tranches.
Yes.
One was paid last year, and the other one is supposed to be paid this July. But here's the problem.
Oh, God.
That money has not been budgeted for in the upcoming financial year. You know?
I don't understand.
You see, we work with budgets.
Okay, that I understand.
Yeah. So,
So-
when the money for you to be paid in July, which is the next financial year, you have to get the allocation in next year's budget, the 2026-2027 budget.
But the vanguards of this process of a CBA is the
Yeah.
Ministry of Education.
Yes.
The stakeholders, Ministry of Education officials. Now, when we talk about budgets, ministries, that's why the budgeting process starts as far back as the end of
Yeah.
August.
Yes.
Ministries supply Treasury, the number crunchers at Treasury, with their projections and what they need. A CBA is not a walk in the park. A CBA is a conversation that you've had over time and an agreement that you have put in place to still and calm the waters. It involves money, it involves resources, it involves people. How do you then not put that in your projections to Treasury so that it be included in the budget? Because we know that if it's not in the budget, then you can't spend this money.
Correct. Now,
So why wouldn't you do something as important as that in your projections to Treasury as the Ministry of Education?
some teachers are saying that's a rage bait. They're trying to look at what teachers can do, but that's on a lighter note. That's exactly what the unions are talking about when they say that they're going to strike, because they say this is not an emergency that has just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
This is something that they knew was bound to happen. So they know they need this money, and they know by July they need to be paying teachers their new salaries, but they've not budgeted for that. So when we get to July, then we will be having a back and forth, and that's what they're trying to avoid. Before budget is ready in June, they want that money allocated into or factored into the budget.
But it's not possible because you have about a month to go in terms of the completion of the budget process. The numbers will be done by the end of...
Actually, as early as now.
It's done. The budget is done. We're
the
just
recommendations
waiting
are
all
already
done.
before,
So that the chances of that money then being brought in are close to nil.
That's true. And that's now the other pressure point that could send teachers to a strike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tsarima will hopefully join us to then explain this a little bit further. But you are in the halls of Jogo House often. You also attend the committees to hear what these folks are saying. One of the things that has been in the public arena for the longest time has been that the president has talked about the fact that they've hired 100,000 teachers. You know, it's historic. It has not happened under a presidency before. But some teachers are saying, okay, while the numbers may say that, there's this odd number of 56,000 teachers who are actually not employed. And when I say that, it's because they're contracted.
Yeah, so as interns.
As interns.
Yeah.
So are they employed or are they interns?
They're just interns.
Okay, and so they're paid something.
Yeah.
But they're not in these groups, these job groups.
No.
So have 100,000 teachers actually been hired then?
So in real sense, 76,000 teachers have been hired. And I'm not trying to be a naysayer, but we have to contextualize things.
Okay.
So look at this. We had primary and secondary schools under 844.
Okay.
Then we introduced the CBC or the CBE.
Yeah.
We introduced another level between senior school and primary school. We put in an intermediary stage, the junior secondary school.
Yeah.
So this is a completely new thing that was not in our system. So we had teachers that were teaching primary and senior school. And then we have this new system. When we talk about 100,000 teachers being employed, if it was under 844, that would have been
the historic thing.
That would have been historic.
Yeah.
It would have been a big milestone. And I'm not trying to discredit President William Ruto and his government, but with a new intermediary, he had no choice. He had to look for teachers to teach this new level of schooling. And that's where the 100,000 teachers or the 76,000 permanent teachers were going. So we have these teachers who are coming in to teach a new level. And actually, up to now, they don't meet the staffing needs for junior secondary school. You find that in a school, a random primary public school, you'll find that they have at least 4 junior school teachers. The others are primary school teachers who are trying to come and supplement the deficit, you know. So in as much as, 76,000, 100,000, the numbers, whatever number we agree on, have been hired. It was out of necessity. They had to.
It wasn't a favor of that.
It was not, no. Because in secondary school, we still have the deficit of some, I think, 20-something thousand or 30-something thousand teachers who are yet to be hired. In primary school, then the optics changed because of the reduction of 2 classes. They actually have more teachers than they require.
Yeah.
But you see, this is optics that are changing depending on the optics of how the system has been reconstructed to look like. So when we look at that hiring of teachers, for me, it's not the achievement that they try to paint, but it's a mitigation measure to try and accommodate the new system.
Yeah.
And they've not even met the requirement yet. Yes, they've tried, but they've not met the requirement.
They've not made the requirement.
And in respect to what you asked, I think about 44,000 teachers are intern teachers. And those are not employees of the government. They have to wait until the end of this year before they are confirmed.
And this is by public service?
By the TSC.
Yeah,
TSC is the employer.
Is the employer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it means that we have, I think, about 76,000 teachers who have been hired in the last 3 years, and another 44,000 intern teachers who are yet to be confirmed.
And we don't know if they will be.
That's another issue that is causing issues around
the possible strike that we're talking about.
Yeah.
There's also the autonomy of JS teachers who've said, excuse me, you've refused that JS move to senior school.
Yeah.
You've insisted that we be domiciled in primary school for now. It creates a bit of an ambiguous area in terms of how we're supposed to operate. So we insist on autonomy. You're not going to give us the autonomy that we need? How about we sit at home? This falls into the category of the 4 teachers per school that you're talking about right now, who are not even enough in the first place. So every time I talk about education, Yawande, I get triggered. Sometimes people might think I'm a little emotional, but this is good because you're here, because now you can tell us the things that you actually see on a regular basis. Hopefully our Kupetman will be here shortly, but you've raised a number of issues. So let's go into those a little bit, because you know them from a position of information. TSC got a new CEO after the exit of Nancy Macharia last year.
Yeah, but she's acting.
She's acting in an acting capacity.
Yeah.
But already we've seen some scandal here and there in terms of who has been appointed, who has not been appointed. A family, not family, cousins, brother, sister, whatever. What kind of bearing then does this have on the commission and the work that's actually supposed to be happening at the commission? Or has that fire kind of died down?
Remember, all these things are happening under the new acting CEO, but they're things that began way before she came in.
Yes.
These are things that have been underlying over a period of time.
Yeah.
I know we are not supposed to talk about the issue. There's a recent scandal. I'm not going to go into details.
There's a gag order, obviously.
There's a gag order,
Yes.
So we are not going to talk about where the money went and who was taking the money. But without mentioning names, it's that when we look at the commission, then the credibility of the commission is in question. When you hear that they are deducting money from teachers who, remember, are some of the lowest earners in the public service, and that little that they get is also being deducted to fund some institutions that are questionable, to best put it. And when we look at that, then it's a thing that now puts to question how do they get the orders to, or how do they get the approval to deduct this money without the teacher's consent? Is this a matter that teachers can take up and seek reversal? Is it something that they can seek a refund? Those are the things that we are asking ourselves. But again, these are some of the lowest earners. These unions are the ones that are supposed to be talking on their behalf.
Yep.
Yeah, but they remain silent on such issues. So their place is also in question.
Oh, absolutely.
I wish Nturima was here. He could have been in a better place to tell us.
Or even if he's going to be here for 5 minutes, there's some things that we're going to place before him, so that he can explain to us exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Because this is against what we're talking about is a world-class education system,
Yeah.
where members of this system in other parts of the world, there's no question about the compensation that they get, because there is the understanding that they're feeding into the very foundation of society.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. You're teaching, you're providing the foundational process for the future
Places
of any
like
country.
South Korea, teaching is a noble job.
There you go.
Better than being a doctor, better than being a lawyer, and they cherish teachers. I think their qualification there is a master's for you to teach, even in ECD.
ECD.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to have a master's, and they are one of the most respected profession in that country. So you look at that, you look at countries like Finland. Those are countries that really appreciate the teaching profession.
Because they're dealing with it from a point of understanding.
To our country, and teaching is one of those careers where few are passionate about, but most of them go there because of circumstances.
Almost as though they were being punished.
Yeah.
Another thing that we're going to talk about when we come back from this break, Nyaundi, is the fact that term 2 comes in next week.
Yeah.
And that there are some students some parents who are going to be asked to pay 100% increment on term 2 fees.
Yeah.
That is a reality.
Yeah.
And we're going to be asking why. It's 9:30. We'll come back from this break and ask some of those questions. Don't go away. Stay with us.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
5 bob? These days it doesn't get you much, but now just 5 shillings unlocks any premium story on the Standard. These are stories that go beyond the ordinary, exclusive, high value, and only on the Standard Insider. Choose your story anytime, anywhere for just 5 bob. Bobeana 5 bob. Big stories, small price. Visit www.standardmedia.co.ke and subscribe today.
We need to talk. Childhood trauma.
I'm a victim of what? Hakuna kitu mzuri inaweza kuja kutoka kwako. Like wewe na unakuwa mjinga sana.
I was a victim of rape and molestation growing up.
A place that was supposed to feel safe. But for most people, it felt like chaos.
You can imagine being a school dropout at the age of 8.
I saw my neighbor was attacked by the robbers. They killed him together with his wife.
But what happens when those survival patterns follow you into adulthood?
As a grown-up, it has really affected me in my relationship.
I ended up in drugs in a way.
If your child is rebellious, if your child is shutting down, most likely you're the problem.
Trauma is also not receiving love or validation.
Survival is not where your story ends. Healing is possible.
I'd encourage, parents out there, if you're building, please have this kind of space where kids get to do their homework, they get to see through the window.
Yes, I didn't want them to actually, because the land is mine. I didn't want them to do homework in their rooms.
Yeah.
It really takes away from rest.
Yeah.
Because you just start feeling like your desk is inside your room, and this is not a place for rest.
Yes.
It eats your head.
From your family, you have a global voice, Lupita. Yes.
Lupita's father, Professor Nyanyo, was an actor. He acted at the National Theatre.
Interesting.
Her mother acted there also.
Okay.
Yes.
Is this your TV room? Like you want to watch TV as you're cooking?
The idea behind this was to keep family life together.
Okay.
Yes, where I lived before in my rental house.
Yeah.
When the person who was cooking was in the kitchen.
Yeah.
They couldn't be laughing with the people watching the TV.
That's a good one.
Three of Toulouse. Got a handy enough win here.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
We've obviously started a conversation with Lewis Nyawundi, who is an education reporter with the Standard Group. I mean, wealth of information that you have here about some of the things that are actually going on. Questions arise in terms of what's going to be happening in the next couple of days as schools open come Tuesday and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Moses Nturima is the Deputy Secretary General of KUPPET, and of course, there's some questions that we have to ask. He joins us on phone. Getting here maybe proved a little bit of a challenge this morning, but we're going to continue that conversation with him this morning. Bwana Nturima, good morning. Hello? Hello, Bonantuma, good morning. I don't think we can hear him. Perhaps we can fix that, Evelyn. All right, we'll see if we can get him to then be able to speak to us. That line seems to be a bit off, so we'll see if we can get him on the line and at least disengage that call from your side. All right? All right, there we go. Hello, good morning, Bonantuma. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
We're doing well, and thank you so much.
Karibu sana, and thank you for joining us this morning. So a couple of questions that we wanted to get into with you this morning. Of course, Nyawundi is here with us, and we're looking into what KUPPET has been very clear about, that in the next couple of days, there's a possibility of a strike not going to schools even as they open to teach. And this is from the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers. So we're looking at all the way from grade 7 to Form 4. And one of the issues that we're seeing could be is because of the SHA issue. Can you give us a bit of an explainer in terms of what's going on here?
Yes, Madam, I think the union is unequivocal with regards to the reopening of the school, that the teachers, if SHA has not improved its services, as was agreed, teachers are not likely to go back to class because of the medical cover. You remember a couple of months ago, we were in Minute, which was a fairly good medical provider. But when we went to State House, the president promised teachers that he wanted to fix the few challenges that we had in Minute and make it seamless. That was followed by a transfer of teachers to SHA and MAS. And the SHA promised to give us about 9,000 hospitals from the 800 that Minute was providing. So from that time, we have started experiencing a lot of challenges regarding how teachers are accessing services.
When you say challenges, Bonantuma, what are you saying? Because you're saying if it doesn't improve, what exactly is going wrong?
What is going wrong is that they promised about 9,000 hospitals. Less than 200 hospitals are receiving teachers, and these are majorly public hospitals. We expected us to access the best hospitals in the Republic, having lost the medical allowance and going to the SHA with about 22 billion. We expected similar services in terms of medical provision, which is not forthcoming. You go to the hospital, first of all, these are public hospitals, and you take, like you go there at 8, you get services at 8 again at night. Secondly, now they have capped what you are supposed to spend in a day. In a level 4 hospital, you cannot spend more than 1,200. Level 5, 2,500. So when it comes to that, it means that the teachers are not going to get medical services anymore, because that is likely to be only. I mean, it is not even enough for the consultations.
Turima, I hear what you're saying, but this is the question, obviously, to understand that 10,000 teachers, 10,000 teachers went to State House early this year.
Yes.
There were certain things that were said, there were certain things that were promised, and he said, we've agreed that we're going to move this thing to SHA. Everybody said yes. Are you saying that move was agreed upon by the teachers who, I mean, sure, it's just a fraction of the teachers in the country, because we're looking at 400,000 plus teachers in Kenya. 10,000 or so is what could probably fit in State House. But it would have maybe meant that there was a representation of teachers in the country who agreed to this thing. Are you saying that you didn't know what you were agreeing to?
Teachers do not know, and apparently
there was a clause where you could have exited SHA at the end. Maybe, I don't know, there was a grace period on when you could exit SHA, the SHA agreement. Does it still stand, and is that an option?
SHA is a statutory scheme, and unions are not signatory to the agreement. It's only the Teacher Service Commission and the SHA.
Mm-hmm.
We were not in the negotiations of how this thing will be rolled out. It is, we are called at the Minister of Education, and the PS told us that the President wanted teachers to migrate.
Okay.
And we told them to give us time. That is when they asked a scheme of taking teachers to State House. So we were told to take about 2,000 teachers. NAT was given 3,000. Hence associations were given about 5,000. So we took about 10,000 teachers, leaders of teachers, to State House.
I'm sorry. So what you're saying essentially is that there was already an impasse before you went to State House. So the people were already not agreeing over certain things. So you were given the information. But people were not agreeing about certain things before January 2026 when you did go to State House. So before you went, or rather, as the back and forth was going on, which is now when they say come to State House, is that what you're saying? Already there was a disagreement?
There was a disagreement, and in our memorandum, which we gave the President, he was very categorical that these people of the union have refused you to migrate. Do you want me to fix this medical cover for you? And the teachers said 2 terms.
Okay.
And that is where it ended. So that fixing meant to us, he wanted to improve minutes. But it turned out that after a couple of weeks and months, we were transferred to SHA. So there was no agreement whatsoever between the unions and the government. We categorically said that we are not sure where we are going. We need to wait and see whether this thing will benefit the public before teachers come in. Because we are losing.
Turima, I know you're a lawyer, and I'm looking at this as a contract that you did not agree to. Probably you are coerced to agree to. So what's the way forward as we open schools? And also, have you opened negotiations? I'm told that there is a meeting between TSC and the unions in Mombasa.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, there is a meeting, but this meeting is just gimmicks. The meetings that you see people going around every now and then, I take it as a political meeting because what we need to see is service, it's not meetings. Because we had meetings when we were migrated, we had about 2 meetings. And recently we met the minister and the Shah, and he promised a raft of changes in the provision of medical services, which are not forthcoming up to now.
The way forward.
So the way forward is that the teachers must warm up. We are calling the organs of the union to give us directions, because I have no capacity to call for a strike. It is those organs that can tell us now teachers are tired and they are raring to go. And that is now the time we shall issue a notice. Because you cannot, watch teachers die and suffer in the hospitals when they have lost medical cover.
Okay. Some of the other issues that are also coming up that we've seen, Deb, is that the hiring of teachers leaves about 44,000 teachers as interns. And these fall right into this bracket of post-primary education teachers. So we're looking at from junior secondary school, 7, 8, 9, through towards senior secondary school, grade 10, form 3, form 4. That 44,000 of them still remain interns. So that's one issue. Another issue talks about perhaps what we're looking at, that, just a very little bit of what we can actually speak about in terms of what has been happening with teacher deductions over the years and where this money has actually been going. These are some of the issues that are being brought up as flags, red ones, whereby teachers are saying, until and unless these issues are sorted out, we are not teaching. What would you have to say about these two particular issues?
Sorry, I've not gotten the last one.
So the first one, so we're talking about the scandals at the TSC that have been highlighted in terms of deductions from teachers that they don't know where this money has actually gone. And secondly, the issues of intern teachers who maybe until June will not be brought in as full-time employed teachers, if they will.
So now I think the teachers, the courts pronounced themselves that internship is illegal. And as currently it stands, is that the teachers who are serving an internship are serving illegally. So we have written to the government today to call for a meeting to consider, among other things, the employment of teachers who are about 44,000 and are serving under internship, because I don't know how they are paying them, because they are in the service illegally.
Okay.
That is one, and it's one of the issues that teachers want now to address as we open the schools. So we have written to them, and we are expecting to give us a meeting by Monday, because the schools are opening on Monday in that week, so that we thrash out these issues. Otherwise, there will be demonstrations against what the government is doing. Secondly, about deductions, there are several deductions, which includes statutory deductions. I don't know of a deduction that the teachers don't know, because there are deductions of union dues, there are deductions of SHA, there are deductions of NSSF, there are deductions of medical cover, but some of these deductions are already in court. For example, in the deduction of the housing levy, we are the Court of Appeal, and we are waiting for the pronouncement, which was supposed to come up on 12th. But we are still waiting for the court to give us a determination. So
okay, maybe also there is an issue on teachers'
other
promotion,
yes,
which has been a thorny issue in the flesh of teachers. Stagnation for more than 10 years, teachers are saying. And even if you look at TSC posts on social media, you'll see teachers complaining and calling for the revision of this CPG, which is for the benefit of our listeners, the career progression guidelines that guide how teachers are promoted. maybe is there what is happening? Because I remember when you did the 2020, I think in 2023, there was the 2021-2025 CBA where you signed the monetary part of the CBA. And one of the agreements that you made during that time was that that you're going to form a technical team that was going to review, among other issues, the issues on CPG. Also, when you signed the 2025-2029 CBA, which is the most recent, one of the agreements was that you are going to sit together with TSC and relook at CPG. All these promises are there, but there are no outcomes that we see, substantive outcomes. And teachers continue to complain about this promotion issue. What is happening? Can you give us a definitive answer on what is happening on promotion and how you're handling this matter?
Yes, on promotion, I can authoritatively say that we have been aggregating money from the retired teachers, and you see the government every year gives us 1 billion to promote teachers. So the amount that, like in the previous years, we aggregated about 4 billion plus 1 billion that went into promoting teachers and employing more. But this time, we have told the TSC that the amount of the money aggregated upon retirement of teachers should entirely go to the promotion of teachers due to stagnation. Secondly, about CPG, it is in our agreement, the collective bargaining agreement that we signed last year, that we are winding up with the CPG in June this year, and we shall now exit to another scheme where we made a proposal that teachers cannot only be promoted when there is a vacancy in the administration, but even when they're in class, they should be promoted to the highest level, because waiting for vacancies from management will take them a long time. So we are clearing this one. We are also merging some job groups, like job group C4 and C5 must be phased out. Those are our recommendations, and we expect the TSC, when they call us now, because they are working on now the policy, we shall be able to now authoritatively to say that CPG has been vacated, and we are in the new regime now of the promotions.
Maybe so when we expect to wind up this CPG, and maybe for the benefit of our listeners, can you just explain to us what CPG entails?
Previously, we were being promoted under what was called schemes of service, where the teachers were promoted regardless of whether you are taking position of leadership or not. It's a promotion on merit, where even a classroom teacher could be having a senior grade than the principal of that school. But when we went to the CPG, the TSC decided now to narrow down on the promotion. It is no longer promotion on merit, but promotion on getting a position of leadership. So that one narrowed the scope of how teachers will be promoted to you wait for a vacancy for you to go up. And that one has made a critical mass of teachers being left under without promotions. So right now we are diversifying promotion, and I hope these proposals will come to fruition this year.
All right. It'll be interesting to see. So what, just as we kind of wrap this up with you, and we're very grateful that you joined us to be able to share some of these insights. What does Monday look like? Because schools open on Monday. Learning is supposed to begin for the second term on Monday, which is the longest term of the year. What is likely to happen from your point of view?
we cannot stop learning because that is the right of the learners. But definitely, you'll expect teachers to make their pronouncements on Monday.
All right. Regardless of what those will be, Moses Nturuma is the Deputy Secretary General of the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers. Thank you for joining us this morning. We look forward to a time where we can have you in the room to then, of course, go over some of these issues as pertinent as they are. But for now, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. There was miscommunication between us and the person who called me. I'm willing to come any other day that you call me. Thank you so much. Good work. And asante sana.
Asante sana. We definitely look forward to that. Thank you.